Hello everyone, this is Grace and it is May the 5th, 2020, and today we're going to be taking a look at the sixth trumpet of the Revelation. Let's get to it. Revelation 9 verse 13. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, Loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth, and of brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issue fire, and smoke, and brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornications, nor of their thefts. Okay, so let's go through and look at the definitions here. Now, it says, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God. So the golden altar, if you look in the sanctuary, is before the throne of God. But the four horns here is actually the four beasts. And we're going to see that. I didn't mark it, but I know where the scripture is, so we'll go to it first, because I didn't put it in here. I just remembered. Here it is, right here. And it says, and we know that the golden altar before God is where the prayers of the saint went up. So it says here in Revelation 5:8, and when he had taken the book, the four beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints. So this is an answer to the prayers of the saints, and those are held by the four beasts that are here in Revelation. I think they're on the throne, but the golden altar is positioned before the throne of God. That's why it's set like that. So now we'll take a look at our definitions. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the four beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits. Okay, we don't need that. I don't think we do. And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were the 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind. I'm not sure if I have any definitions in here that, other than that one I just gave you. Smoke of the incense which came. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. We'll just take a look at all of them. There's only 4 more. So, and another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar which is before the throne. So this is what it's speaking of, the prayers of the saints. And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saint ascended up before God out of the angel's hands. No, I think it's all about the Then lifted up mine eyes, and saw, and behold, 4 horns. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, What be these? And he answered me, These are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. And the Lord shewed me 4 carpenters. Then said I, What come these to do? And we don't need this, but we needed this part right here. Okay, so that's all of those. So what we have here is the 4 horns from the golden altar are about to answer the prayers from the saints. and they're taking action in regards to the prayers of the saints. Saying to the six angels saying to the six angels which have the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Now this is coming from Revelation 7. After these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, the winds of strife, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. So, they are about to release these four winds, or they're called the winds of strife, if you're an Adventist. But they're about to release these four winds in this scripture here. And we know from previous studies that the winds of strife are represented by the first four seals of Revelation. So that's what's going on here. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay. Hold on a moment. I forgot. I wanted to look up bound for you guys. So let's do that. Because bound, of course, is not bound with chains. These are spirits. They do not have chains on them, and there's no burning, fiery, blazing hell that's going on right now. That's not the way it works at all. They're bound by circumstances. The spirits are bound by circumstances. And so I just looked up a few examples of where the word bound was used in order to show that they were bound by the conditions that surround them. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. And ought not this woman, this is the woman, I thought it was the woman with the condition of blood, but this is the woman who couldn't stand up straight. And ought not this woman, being a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan has bound, lo, these 18 years, be loosed from this bond, be loosed from this bond on the Sabbath day? And now, behold, I go bound in the spirit unto Jerusalem, not knowing the things that shall befall me there. For the woman which has a husband is bound by the law to her husband, so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. And art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife? Seek not wife. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Now we know that Satan is not bound. Satan is, all of the people are dead. So he has no one to taunt. He has no one to possess or influence. So now all that's left for him to do is to sit there and contemplate the future. His future, which is very bleak, for 1,000 years. He's bound by circumstances because there's no work for him to do. There's nothing to occupy his time. So, okay, that's all of those. So that's what it means by they are bound. The bounding was back in Revelation 7, where it says, they should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor any tree until the servants saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor any tree, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. That was their binding. And now they're released from that. So we know that everyone is sealed. Okay, so now the judgment can pass upon. Now the prayers of the saints can be answered against those that are going to receive the wrath of the Lamb. So, and the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. So the four angels were loosed, the winds of strife, and they were prepared for an hour, a day, and a month, and a year. Well, the hour, the day, the month, and the year is a time frame that has been allocated for all of this to happen. This prepared here is actually to make ready. 2090 in the present sense, to prepare, provide, make ready. And it is not used in the sense that, well, I'm not sure if it's used or not. I can't really remember if it's used as a, I would imagine if you have, what's it called, a passive sentence, where you reverse the subject and the, I can't remember. I think it has to be used in a past sense that way. I'm not sure. You'll have to look it up for yourself. But this is to make ready in the present sense. And I have some examples for you here. Let's see. Prepared for the, okay, it's the hour of the day. Did I not do it separately? Okay, here we go. Alrighty. So, and he will show you a large upper room furnished and prepared. There make ready for us. So you have prepared in the past sense, previously prepared, and make ready in the current sense, as in make ready for us in the future, or presently. And he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elias, to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. Make ready, current, prepared, previously done. Again, he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage. So, prepared here, I guess, is the past sense, and prepared here is the present sense. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for the strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. Oh, this is to show you that, because an hour, hold on, my world stop and go back real quick. When you add up the hour, the day, the month, and the year, it comes to 390 days. Now, a 390-day year is not impossible when you use the Lord's calendar, because the year begins after the solstice. So if the spring solstice is late running in the year, then your year could come a month later. So this is not impossible to have a 390-day year. And so what this is saying is, and the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for 391 days for to slay the third part of men, which is in 1 year, 360 days, plus 30 days, plus 1 day, plus an hour. 391 days and an hour, if you want to add that up. And if you want to add that in there, for to slay the third part of men. So in that time period, the 390 days and that's in the 390 days is going to happen, and then the third part of men is going to be slave. And that matches Ezekiel. We'll go to Ezekiel before we go to the definitions, and we'll look at that just real quick. I think it's Ezekiel 4. Here we go. Now, don't be confused here. I'll walk you through it here. So this is the siege before the desolation. Moreover, take thou unto thee an iron pin, and set it for a wall of iron between thee and the city, and set thy face against it, and it shall be besieged, and thou shalt lay siege against it. This shall be a sign to the house of Israel. Lie thou also upon thy left side, and lay the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it, according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon it, thou shalt bear their iniquity. I have laid upon thee the years of their iniquity, according to the number of the days, 390 days, so shalt thou bear the iniquity of the house of Israel. Now, I've told you before that I don't have a perfect interpretation of this, but it does say that there are years here. So then we go down further. And when thou hast accomplished them, lie again on thy right side, and thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have appointed thee each day for a year. So it repeats it. 390 days, each day for a year. 40 days, each day for a year. So then we get down to the food part. Therefore thou shalt set thy face toward the siege of Jerusalem, and thine arm shall be uncovered, and thou shalt prophesy against it. And behold, I will lay bands upon thee. Hold on. Here we go. Take thou also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and fidgets, and put them in one vessel, and make thee bread thereof, according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon it, upon thy side. 390 days shall thou eat thereof. I give thee each day for a year. Right? No. It just says 390 days there. And that matches. So they will have their food for 390 days. And then after that, they don't need food because they're going to be desolate. But they are going to be under siege for 390 days. And all the food's going to come from one vessel. That famine thing, you guys, it's not famine. The third, I probably should have done it first, but the third seal is not famine. It's not. It's captivity. That's what it is. It's captivity. Well, it's not captivity. I have to do it. I don't want to guess what it is, but it's not a famine. And we'll go through that. I'll try to do that next. But let's look at the definitions that I have for that. Oh, wait, no, we've already done half of them. We want to look at the ones that match the day. Okay, so here we are. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judges her. Therefore the Lord will cut off from Israel head and tail, branch and rush in one day. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. I'm not sure if the year of recompense, I really didn't study to see. I don't know if this applies. I don't know if the year of recompenses is the same as the day of the Lord. It's vengeance. It could be. I really did not. I just didn't want to spend time that I didn't need to on this. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year. Hold on a moment. Okay, hold on. No, we're okay. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. Yeah, and see, this is what made me wonder if it was the same, because when you see the year of recompenses, you can think, okay, well, maybe, but they're not redeemed yet. So That's what makes me wonder if it's supposed to be the same thing. But I don't have an answer for you. I didn't look it up. It wasn't needed for this study. To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of his and the day of the vengeance, and this one as well, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty men shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Let's just read through this. A day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced city and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. And their blood shall be poured upon the dust, and their flesh as the dung. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all of them that dwell in the land. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light, the sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. One of the things I want you to do, if you do read through Isaiah 13, is be cautious, because it slides right into the day of the Lord, the wrath of God, and it treats the wrath of God as the wrath of the Lamb, as the wrath at the beginning here when the constellations are shining. When you see the signs from the sixth seal. And then it goes right into the wrath, as though it continues at the end when the wrath comes against the people of the north that are sent to punish us. See, it's dead giveaway here when you see the word. Well, it's not a dead giveaway, but it's a sign here. And it says, and I will punish the world. Well, that would be earth if it was just us. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. And I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man of the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall be removed out of her place. Well, we know the heavens we talked about this in the fifth trumpet. The heavens, that's the spirits, the fallen spirits, Satan's domain. That's Satan's domain, and that doesn't happen until the sixth. We looked at it in the fifth trumpet. I think it was the sixth vial. I don't remember, but he's going to shake the heavens, and the earth's going to be removed out of her place. But then it goes on to tell you, in the wrath of the Lord of hosts. So you gotta have to be. So it stops right here for us. It stops right here, but it all seems to flow together as though this wrath is going to be a continuation on into here. So you kind of have to be careful when you read Isaiah 13. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. And it may be that it flows into the wrath of God, that is counted as part of the day of the Lord, but it's not counted as part of this day. This day is 390 days, or 391 days, however you want to look at it. Okay. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. Okay. And he will shew you a large upper room furnished. Okay, we've already looked at all of those. Let's continue. So let's go on. And the number of the army of horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. Now I was so baffled when I took my time and read this, because I tried to rush through it before. I got it. Well, it wasn't wrong, but it was so much easier when I stopped and took my time. And one of the things I noticed is in the very next verse, it says, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them. And I was like, wait a second. He heard up here the number of the horsemen. So why not just say horsemen down here? No, he says, thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, distinguishing between the two. And there's a reason for that. The reason is that, let's read all of this. Well, no, we'll just stop there. We'll just keep this part as part of this. The reason is because this is the wrath of God. This is the actual judgment. So it's trying to point out to you that the judgment is coming from heaven. We can see that here. Horsemen, by the way, is like a cavalry. Cavalry. We'll look up horsemen first. Let's look up horsemen. No, let me explain it for you, and then we'll look it up. Okay, so the number. Yeah, I meant to look everything up first and then explain it, but it didn't work out that way. So let's just keep on going. Okay, and the number of the army of the horsemen was 200,000 thousand. So we're going to start here. The thousands, it's easier to look it up. Okay, so the thousands are the angels that stand in council for God, for Yahweh. And we can see that here. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beast, and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands. So the 10,000 times 10,000 is what we're looking at in the sixth trumpet. So they're round about the throne, the beast and the elders, the thousands and the thousands are the ones that are ministering to them. So here we go. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. 1,000 ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. Now they stood before him in counsel. When you stand before, you're standing to get or to receive counsel. And that's the way the Bible is. And I did not look it up. I'm sorry. I feel very badly, especially after having to redo this video, but I didn't. But you can look it up. The judgment was so after they stood before him, and then the judgment was set, and the books were opened. One witness and then there was also two. It was 2 times 10,000 times 10,000. 2 is the number of witness. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity, or for any sin, in any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established. Make ye mention of the nations, behold, publish against Jerusalem that watchers come from a far country, and give out their voice against the cities of Judah. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. Let me let you know something. Mouth, I have previously said that mouth was the same as voice, said, spoke. It's not. Mouth is the actual word. It is, a voice denotes an action of some sort. When it was speaking, when someone said something, that denotes an action or a work of some sort, even if it's just giving a command of some sort, but it denotes some sort of action is taking place. Mouth is the actual words. It's what you would think voice would be or said. It's what all the things that you would think action mean. Mouth is actual words. It's the words that are spoken. But if he will not hear thee, take with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. Now we have mouth coming up in one of our definitions, so I'm not going to go over it with you now, but I'm giving you the definition now so that you can understand this more clearly. Okay, so we're done there. Let us go back. So and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. So what this is saying is the two witnesses. The 100,000 are the angels that are going out against them in heaven, to let you know that this is um, a holy judgment that is coming against these people. Now, you can also see that in the next verse. Hold on. We don't need to go here yet. So he says he heard the number of them. We know, by the way, that this is a symbolic number, because every time we see that G706, it has been a symbolic number. The number 666 has it. The number 144,000 has it. Now 144,000, understand that it is both symbolic and literal. It gives you the number G706 for the number 144,000, but then it also counts out 12,000 of each tribe. So that's a literal count there. Then, but this G706 is symbolic. So you see the symbolism here in the 2, and then the 10,000 times 10,000 are the saints in heaven that are witnessing against the people of wrath. So let's continue. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them. So he heard the number of him, and then he saw them here. The reason why it's put out like this is because I'm going to keep this with this verse, and we're going to continue on. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. The reason why it's separate is because a horse, even though it's a creature of war, the definition that I'm going to show you is probably a better definition, is an instrument of war. Because the very first one, I think I put it as the first one intentionally, it says that the horse is led around. I don't remember it. I have to look it up. We have to look it up together here. I must not have. Here we go. Behold, we put bits in the horse's mouth, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. So horses, though they're animals of war, they're controlled by whoever is driving them. Yes, for lack of a better word, whoever is atop of them, I guess, the horsemen. They're controlled by the horsemen. Otherwise, there's no point in the horse is just a horse. If he's going to be used as an instrument of war, he has to have a horseman on top of him to control him to go into the war. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why it was put like this. Let me change this. So, and I saw the instruments of war in the vision, and then separately are them that sat on them. Now it's going to give the description of those that sit on the instrument, not the horses, because the horses are just the instruments of war. So now we're going to take a look at the men that sit on them. They have breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone. Now, breastplates, of course, is a covering. This is their covering. That means that's their protection. That's their foundation. This is what they believe in. It covers their heart, covers their chest. So The breastplates are of fire, which is judgment, jacinth, which is a blue colored stone, and it represents the Ten Commandments. That's part of their foundation. And then brimstone, and brimstone is a refining. I'm so ashamed. I forgot to look up brimstone again. I tried. I really tried. Okay, well, you can look it up. Well, you know what? Let's just stop here. We're at 35 minutes. I'll look it up before I do the next one. We're not going to stop here. I have to finish this first. We've already started it. So fire and jacinth and brimstone. But when you look at it here, so you have the riders that are made of judgment and the Ten Commandments and the refined characters. But it says the heads of the horses. Now it's giving the description of the horses that are being controlled. Or as the heads of lions, they kill. And out of their mouths, which is their words, issued fire, which is a different fire. You have fire here, which is G4447, and fire here, which is G4442. And smoke, well, the Ten Commandments just changed into smoke. Smoke, by the way, it can be wrath, and in most cases it is wrath, but it's most generally speaking is judgment. Judgment. Let's see. What was the definition that I came up with? Judgment. Righteous judgment, I think, was the definition that I came up with. Righteous judgment fits almost every example where you pull up smoke. Wrath doesn't fit every example. It fits a lot of them because it's an anger. But righteous, because if it's righteous judgment, it's going to go against the wicked. That's why it fits most of them. But it also says the prayers of the saint go up like smoke. So the prayers of the saint aren't going up in anger and in wrath. No, they're going up in righteousness. So it's righteous judgment. And brimstone, of course. Okay. Which is, it's a purifier. It's sulfur. It's a sulfur agent, which can be used as a purifier. So, I don't want to stop in the middle of this, so let's just do it real quickly. So, yeah, let's just stop. We'll just stop here. And we will pick up at 9:17, and we'll go through the definitions on the next one. We'll do a quick preview, and then we'll go through the definitions in the next part, in the part 2. All right, if you have any questions, please leave them below. Yahweh bless.